c'est basé sa vie couple, revenir à tonton, c'est ça qui gagne. Écoute, média emmène ça arrête, hein. Mais il y a des fois, tu as payé la case. Et une fois, son métier nous a sorti de la case à cause il besoin réparer. Et nous allons rester en bas la cave et l'autre du monde.
After a while, more Seychellois people started looking inwards, questioning the status quo, and debating a future that would be shaped by their own hands. They were also questioning who should rule over them. Should it be the British government, the great power of the church, or maybe even themselves?
A Tale of Two Lawyers. Pour qui peut suivre ça documentary, le SBC de vendredi soir. Il y a le troisième épisode, en effet, moi, je gagne ça pour regarder mardi aussi. Et on tente la voix derrière. I'm going to switch to English now. You heard the voices behind the documentary, and the person is with me inside the studio, Claude Bonté. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Kurt.
How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
All right, Claude, we're going to go straight to the deep end because we have so much to cover, and it's a very interesting documentary. And my first question for you is, why did you feel now was the right time and appropriate time to tell that story in the Seychelles history?
Well, I've been working at it for quite a long time, and it's the 50th year of independence, so it's our big 5-0. And I thought, well, it's got to be a pretty good time to unleash it, shall we say?
Yeah. So you could say it's marking the milestone of the 50th anniversary of the Seychelles independence.
Absolutely.
All right. So my second question's for you. Yeah, I'm sorry, we're just going to...
It's okay, go for it, go for it.
Because
I'm okay, rapid fire.
Yeah, okay. So the documentary explores the events leading up to Seychelles independence, yeah? During your research, what was the most surprising discovery that changed your own understanding of that period?
People wanted to do something, and to get source for Cecil. They really wanted to do something. They spoke a lot, they conferred, they used their placards and things, and they actually, at some point, I suppose, took to the streets. And they were very collaborative as well. In there, if you've seen it in the first episode, which I think was in the first episode, the Seychellois Welfare Association, where they had a lot of people. They were Seychellois that were living in Kenya, and they came together to help each other out. And you'll also see in the video when Mr. Rene said that was one of the first places he visited on the way back to Seychelles. He went to Kenya, and that part of it is a part that I know very well. So I put a picture of the association on there and everything. Now they worked together, they collaborated, they really collaborated, because again, you know, when you've got challenges. And there were a lot of challenges in Seychelles at that time, as you saw with the videos, a lot of poverty and things like that, and people wanted to get out of it, so they had to work hard and they had to help each other.
So for you, the audience tuning in today, we got a tale of two lawyers, the person behind it all, with me inside the studio today, Mr. Claude Bonté. And if you want to participate, have questions that you want to ask Mr. Claude Bonté, the number to text is 288-8989. WhatsApp, please do not send me audio. I cannot listen to audio. Text message only, WhatsApp, either way. And we move on with another question for Mr. Claude Bonté. So my question for you is, the series features prominent political figures and former presidents, yeah? So how did you ensure that the documentary remained balanced and fair while presenting different political perspectives?
That's a brilliant question, actually.
Yeah.
That is a very good question.
Yeah.
Predominantly, I'm a researcher, a journalist, somebody that does this investigative journalism, if you will. And I had watched so many of them, and some of them absolutely captivated me, because you actually go into it that you don't know anything, what we call blank state.
Yeah.
You don't know anything. So you're going and you're just looking for all the data. You're looking for the dates, you're looking for this person did this on this date and that person did that on that date, and it's supposed to be completely balanced, which I hope that it has achieved that, as some people have actually said who'd watched it, and that's the way it is. You know, it's up to I'm supposed to put all the data together and give it to you, and you make your own mind up.
Yeah, especially with politics nowadays, it's quite there's this tension between the two main parties nowadays, and you went back to tell the history pretty much of the both parties, and you have to find that right balance, not offending anyone, but just like you said, a journalist needs to make sure that the playing field is quite level. And did you find that difficult, or you just said, you know, I'm just going to put what I found out there?
Did I find it difficult? No, I didn't. I found it very interesting because I was very curious. I mean, I think it's called ferocious curiosity. So what happened there, and why did this person do that, and why did that person do that? That was the important things. It was the why. It was the why they actually did different things. And also the other thing that really came up is, you know, they all had a love for seeing the betterment of Seychellois people. That was the overarching theme behind the whole thing. They wanted to crack on, they wanted to get on, they want to move ahead.
And to be honest, there's a lot of people that are still alive that went through all these atrocities, the history of everything that you portrayed in the documentary. And we have this younger generation now watching that documentary. What message would you like the younger audience to take from that documentary?
Well, I mean, you just said it in your first question. When you actually look at the last 50 years, it was trials and tribulations. The magic is actually taking the lessons from the last 50 years, really looking at it objectively and investing them into the next 50 years. So what I've tried to do is create something, especially for the younger generation, because obviously some of them were not around, some of them were not born, but their parents probably told them about it, and they heard bits of the story. So now they can watch the whole thing in full multicolor, so they can make their own minds up as to what's what. But the most important thing is it was the past. Yes, you understand it, but we don't live there. What we do is we go back to the past to take all those priceless lessons of what actually happened, come back here, and then knowing all those lessons, it's like what we call standing on the shoulders of giants and investing them into the next 50 years so that we don't make the same mistakes again. Do you see? Because the truth of it is, we're Seychellois people. If we met each other, we didn't know each other at all, and we met in a pub in London, for argument's sake. Oh, you're from Seychelles? Yeah, I'm from Seychelles, yeah, whatever. Great. So we would just have a drink and celebrate the fact that we're Seychellois. But unfortunately, or fortunately, however you want to look at it, because we're so small, people, when they do meet each other, they tend to go for the what we call the identification part. Which box can I put you in? What family are you from? And all that. And it's not really that important. What is important is how you can relate to each other as a human being. So with me in the studio today, we have Mr. Claude Bonté, the person, the creator behind A Tale of Two Lawyers. And there was this little word that he used was magic. So we're going to have a little clip right now to have a look at the magic that Mr. Claude Bonté brought to your screens.
Gouvernement coalition y continuait avec James Mancam comme président et Albert René comme premier ministre.
C'est fantastique, mon petit, vraiment senti que nous arrivons dans l'étape.
Et nous tous ensemble, nous crier vive Cécile! Continuons pour la guerre. Après trois, nous crions, nous tous vive Cécile! Vive Cécile! Vive la République!
Actuellement, tout ça l'appelle le SBC, A Tale of Two Lawyers. Et avec moi, c'est Claude Bonté de Beau VALLON qui est avec moi dans le studio. Mr. Claude, yeah, we just saw a clip whereby Mr. France Albert René was lifting his left hand, and that clip was titled The Left Hand, and there was some use of AI in there. So my question for you, just to summarize everything, right? So you mentioned earlier about the younger generation having a look at the documentary and discovering all what happened in the past, and we have some use of AI in there, and sometimes you can't tell the difference. So how do you ensure that they do not mix the two, that this is AI, this was real footage? How do we go about that?
That's a very good question, actually. This one's a serious film documentary, so all the stuff that you've seen there has to be pretty close to the way it was. Now, because it's a film and for the younger generation, they have to be able to really, really get it and engage with it. That's the most important thing, and that's all AI is for. So where you see some things where things were moving, it would be taken from the original picture.
Oh,
and
okay.
people would be familiar with the original picture anyway. It's just you got it. You know, I got this to move or that to move. So that's the AI part of it.
So basically, what we see in the documentary, especially when we see the old pictures and they come to life, is all AI generated. But don't you think we should inform people that this is a representation of what happened, or something like that?
You will see it on there where it says this is a reenactment.
Aye.
This particular scene is a reenactment, so that people know that it's about as close as possible to what actually happened. Because think about it, if something, I mean, this is the way it is in any movie or any documentary, if something happened 50 years ago, 40 years ago, unless you've got the original footage, then all you can do is try and make it as close to that as possible.
Yeah, it's quite incredible when we see the AI just like Richard think, I was like, did that really happen? But thank God you explained to say, yeah, there is that little notice like this is an AI generated a reenactment and everything. So thank you for that, because a lot of people tend to say, oh, really? This is how it went down, especially the people who live through those times as well. So yeah, as you can see on your screens, ladies and gentlemen, those were AI, like Mr. Claude explained, reenactment of AI generation. It's good to have a bit of AI in there as well. So just to move on, historical documentaries often uncover stories that have never been publicly discussed. Yeah. So what was there? Was there an interview or archive you uncovered that left a lasting impression on you?
Was there an archive that lasted
impression
left a
on you?
Impression on me. Yeah, I mean, there were a couple of as I went through and started to familiarize myself with the story, there were a couple that actually really touched me. And I think, if I'm really honest, the one that really touched me out of all the hundreds, I don't know if it was hundreds, but it was a lot of interviews that I did, was I discovered that that British Prime Minister John Major's secretary was in fact a Seychelles woman.
Yeah, I saw that actually.
And that really got me. I mean, really lovely person. And again, we spoke about the time the Berlin Wall came down. And it was a pivotal time for us, really, because if you remember, 1992, Sir James Montcalm came back, and the two lawyers shook hands again, and then we had the third constitution. So it was all the events that were leading up to that, and that was fascinating for me, because I actually got to meet her, and we chatted, and I managed to interview her as well. So
it's like meeting a living history book, you could say.
Yeah, it is.
To be honest, I'm also a history buff. I love history, especially for the Cold Wars and everything. But this one really caught my attention, because it's well documented and well balanced story. So congratulations to you actually for that.
Thank you.
Just to have another question, so. How challenging was it to gain the trust and participation of former political leaders? I know some of them have left us. Political leaders, public figures, individuals who experienced those defining moments firsthand. You gave us one example, but what about the others? Because, there was quite a few. How easy was it to get their trust to open up? Because you need to have them open up to tell their side of the story.
Absolutely.
How easy was that, or was it
It was not easy.
Yeah?
It was not a walk in the park.
Yeah.
Like any relationship that you have, trust is the paramount. And it was just a project I was doing for my own interest to get all these things together. I didn't really think that it would actually be a TV program, so I'm very eternally thankful to all the people that contributed to this project. And they contributed very generously as well. You know, and I would say it's because the intention of doing it was very sincere. It was the reason I wanted to do it was to tell the story, because the whole story had never been told before. And it took time, though. I mean, it really took quite a lot of time. And the other thing is I didn't know anything about video production when I started. I'm not a trained videographer. I didn't go to film school or anything.
Really?
I had to learn all that stuff. Yeah.
And how long did it take you
But
to
I'm
learn
a
it?
copious student. Well, I learned as I went. Learned as I went. Went out with a cameraman. He did a shot. Said, let me have a go. Went onto YouTube, checked something. Premiere, right? Okay. Then what do you do? Then I had coaches as well. I have to say, I found some brilliant people, really good cinematographers. And I just said, look, I'm going to spend an afternoon with you. I'll pay you for it. I want you to coach me and show me how this works. And after they showed me, I practiced like mad. And I've just got to say one thing on this, which is really prevalent to this whole story. When you're truly committed, the universe conspires to help you in ways you'd never dream possible. My biggest breakthrough was the stumbling block over the direction of how it should go to make people watch it and everything. And I started learning a little bit about AI and what it can do. You have to know your stuff first, and then AI can help you. And I thought, well, how can AI help me in filmmaking? And then when I started really, really, really probing and then putting stuff in, I was a computer programmer before, and then coming back and things, and I said, I'm going to try and cut this a different way. And then it gradually shifted. And that's how I made the biggest breakthrough. That's why when you look at some of these things, you go like, wow. It's like visually stunning, visually attractive and engaging. That's with the help of AI as well. So I just used everything at my disposal, all the resources available to me, because I was that determined to do it and get it on the screen.
A Tale of Two Lawyers, we have the person responsible for that beautiful documentary with me inside the studio today on the Friday, the 10th of July, Mr. Claude Bonté de Beau Vallon. Mr. Claude, my next question, again, I have to say, like, accurately, well, I couldn't say accurately. Some people say no, some people say yes, that's it. But my question for you is, like, looking back at the journey to our Independence Day, what lessons do you think today's leaders and young people can learn from the personalities and events featured in the documentary?
The journey to independence was a very interesting one. I would say both Sir James Montcalm and Albert René went to Marlborough House on 3 separate occasions. The first time they went to Marlborough House, they were kind of divided, and the British could see that. So they had more work to do with the people. They had to get the people united in some way. So they both, I would say they actually both worked quite hard at it. In fact, they both worked very hard at it. What lesson do I think the leaders today could learn from Sir James Montcalm and Albert René? Well, the road leading up to independence, at some point, the way I saw it, all the research I've done, is the British said, well, look, guys, come on, I'm going to bash your heads together, and if you really want to do this, then fine, but you do it together. One becomes president, one becomes prime minister. But the point of it is, I mean, Sir James Montcalm says it on one of those clips as well. He said, like the coalition year was the best year of Seychelles because the two sides came together for the common good. And that's the thing. We've got 100,000 people in Seychelles. We can't afford to be divided. United we stand and divided we fall. So I think if you're leading anything, if you're leading any organization today in Seychelles, we have to work together for the common good of Seychelles. It doesn't matter if my brother was married to your sister and they broke up and your kid had a fight with his kid and whatever. Yes, those things happen in a small community and we're affected by it because we are very small, and it does become personal and it does become emotional. But we have to mettre ça à côté. Pour Cécile.
Yeah, and like you just said, together is the way forward, you could say. Yeah. So we have a question from the audience right now. So from number ending with 487 says, "Good morning, Mr. Bonté. Good day to you."
Hello, good day to you.
So the question is there a book about the story documentary being broadcast? Is there a book, or you have to actually see it visually?
No, I love the question. That's also in my plans at some point. There isn't one yet, but there is one on my machine. So In the fullness of time, you will have a nice little book, and you'll be able to hold it in your hand and things like that. But that's time. I can only do so much. you see. So thank you very much for the question. That's a very good one.
So yeah, thank you at home for sending in your question. The number to text is 288-8989. Keep the text coming. Mr. Bonté is here for a few more minutes, so make sure you make it count. All right. So my next question for you, Mr. Bonté, is about the AI again, because there were quite a few AI generated photos and visuals in there. So some people believe AI recreations can make history more accessible, while others worry they will blur the line between fact and fiction. Yeah. Where do you stand in that debate between facts and fiction AI?
That's a very good question, actually. Okay, as a filmmaker, special effects, let's just say it's another special effect, they're used to enhance the story, not to change the story. And it's a fine dividing line between the two. So, I don't know, if something happened, and if you read about it in a book, and you read 4 books, and 4 books said he was very happy about that, he was pleased about the developments, and then you would show somebody, go, okay, so he's quite happy about it. But he wasn't jumping up in the air and throwing his arms up, you know. So there's that's a dividing line. So you have to be smart about it, especially if you're doing a documentary. If you're making a film, it's a different story, because as you know, when you start reading these stories versus what really happens, sometimes it is actually dramatized for television or for film, and it actually tells you that. A documentary is different. These AI things, if you will, are just used to enhance the story, and that's it, just so that especially the younger generation can actually relate to it and say, oh, I can see that's what happened. It's like they're watching a little movie.
All right, so you could say it's a nice little debate sometimes, because we can see a lot of AI generated films nowadays, and people tend to like, is that real or not? But it's good to have your point of view while using the documentary.
It has to be very close to the story. And on the contrary, if it is so close to the story, you're watching that story that was told. Like you'll see when Mr. René actually came back from studying in England, and he came on a boat, and he actually met David Joubert and James Mann. He actually tells the story, and then what I did was illustrated it. So he walked off the boat and he spoke to them on the dockside, and so on and so on and so on. And I just illustrated what he said. So you can hear him saying it as well. So there's a cut, and you can see his face saying it. So it's exactly as he said it.
So just going back to the documentary, whereby you told the story before the Seychelles independence, 1976, all the way till independence, and like different side of stories, and you kind of documentary all of them together, and today we have a tale of 2 lawyers. Is there any other stories that you wish to work on to show the public?
I mean, there's many. What you mean amongst the same kind of theme, or stories about Seychelles, or
story about Seychelles in general?
Sure.
That's captivating you right now. That you say this will be my future project.
Yeah, there's many. Well, moving on. I mean, I did when they see. This was inspired by A Tale of 2 Lawyers, because in 1992 they came back together again, and when the Berlin Wall fell down, that part of the story, and then they shook hands, and then we made the 3rd Constitution. So, on the 18th of June, it was about a month before that, what I thought would be fun to do is, I called it Constitutional Night Out. Get the living members of that, the Third Republic back together again, the ones who formed the Constitution, and actually have a chat show. Do a chat show about it, make a whole TV program. So I did. I got back a few of them who are still living, were still alive, and it was really good fun, and it gave people a chance to learn a little bit about the Constitution, then the historical part. So they came back, and what happened, and from the story that I heard is that there was a walkout on the first one, it came back, and then a whole new bunch of people come, and there was a bit of drama going on. There was something that was put to a poll, a public debate, which had never happened in Seychelles before. So that's historic. And when we actually did the chat show, you can actually see some clips of film from 1992 where they were talking and debating, and then you had some of the real people in the room. Obviously they were a lot older, but I absolutely really enjoyed doing that. Learned a lot, and I think we had a studio audience of about 70 or 80 people, and they all did it and learned something, especially the young people. I mean, we even had one certain character that said, "Well, believe it or not, I was young once." He said, really funny, a lot of fun.
So you could say that there will be more from Claude de Beauvalon, you could say.
Absolutely.
Claude, like you've obviously sat down with so many people to create that documentary, and some of them have decided, of course. If you could bring one person back for that interview, for your documentary, who will it be, and what would be your first question to them?
That is a really easy one. I mean, it would be Maxim Ferrari, because he was very generous with his time, and he was a walking history book. He'd served on the board at the United Nations in the Africa project, as he was telling me, and he was incredible. He was just very, very kind with his knowledge and his experiences. What question would I ask him? God, that's a really, really tough one. What question would I ask him? Because I asked him so many questions. The question that I would ask him, actually, is I would say, if you could have your time back again, right? Because he delivered, like, this was nothing. He told us, like, he delivered 8,000 babies or 16,000 babies. Also, there was a lot of babies in his time as a doctor. I'd say, what do you think back in the 60s Seychelles could have done different or better?
Oh, and ziste bon, nous avons un autre clip là pour nous pour autres qui future ça mais ce qui fait que non mais là on regarde un coup.
The people who supported Mankam were not happy because the SPUP was with them. They were not happy. They mistrusted and distrusted, and on the other side, the SVOP was waiting to see what will happen to do better, to reach power later on.
At the time, the economy was booming, with new businesses being created, hotels being built, and of course, many more job opportunities.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the time I was there. I was 27 only. Yeah, I mean, those days Seychelles was beautiful. You would ask me to leave Seychelles, I'll say no.
Despite the vast economic growth and expanding economy, Mr. René and his supporters remained unhappy.
One of these visits that I made to him, he was very unhappy because he said that he wanted more money to build houses and Mankam would not agree.
Sorti from A Tale of Two Lawyers qui peut jouer en ce moment là SBC simplement qu'on a pour faire si on a VOD rewind regarder vraiment intéressant moi c'est mon enjoy les monde fait l'inventaire mon peut get depuis bon l'autre documentaire qui peut SBC peut jouer so moi highly recommend pour faire un regard Mr. Claude Bonté de Beauvalon. Time is running out. So, is there other projects from Mr. Claude Bonté de Beauvalon for us to see?
There is certainly, yeah. After I finished doing The Tale of Two Lawyers, I thought, well, what's interesting is actually being able to take the lessons from the documentary. So I actually made this game, and this is the game of Two Lawyers.
Oh.
So they have to basically go around the board game, and what it's designed to do is actually teach the younger generation what these leaders have to go through to make the decisions. So there are things like assembly cards, where like public bus motion, bus crisis debate. So they have to they get a card basically, and they've just got to say what's on the card and make their mind up, think on their feet. So this one, they have decisions to make, like, should we go for independence? Yes or no?
I remember that clip actually.
Foreign land ownership, is it a good or bad idea? Well, it might be a good idea, but it might not be a good idea. So it's also very educational. You can learn quite a lot out of it. Now, the other thing that you can do, if you have one of these cards, then you have to miss a turn. So beach beds coup by Germans. So the Germans are a bit mad because they're being charged too much for the beach bed. So that's that card. There's a lot of humour in it as well. This one here is actually a good thing. So, for example, Stevie Wonder loves Sabrew. 1 million crates ordered. So that's good for our economy. It puts more money in our economy. So that's good. And what else have we got? There you go. We've got some money as well. We've got some money. So
guys, this is not real money, okay? Don't attack Mr. Claude on the road, okay? It's not real money.
It's just historic stuff on this, like the little camion. There was another one here somewhere with Mickey Munkam's band. There's one of the actually interesting things. There you go. Have a look at that.
Yeah. What about the coins there? What are those?
These are just the players. So you basically pick a character.
Yeah. Just show it to the camera. Maybe,
They're like at the moment they're just chess pieces. They're just kind of like chess symbols. But you pick a character, and the character is.
So how many players can be played? 5.
4 players, 4 or 5 players.
Yeah, because I can see 5 coins.
3, 4, 5.
5.
Yeah, 5 players can play.
Yeah. So when will that be available?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
and obviously there's a dice so that you can throw the dice around. Yeah, we all like board games as kids.
Yeah.
I wanted to launch it around the 28th, 29th, but it was just too much. It really was too much to do. So I thought, just do one thing at a time. Do the video and then do the game another time.
And the rule book, yeah. But can I ask, because it looks like a lot of effort for you to do the commentary and also the board games, which is fantastic coming from you. What help or assistance are you getting? Are you getting any help, assistance for all this?
How do you mean? I mean, apart from
financially of the commentary, because
the support of a loving wife.
Oh.
Or partner,
yeah,
helps a tremendous lot.
Aye.
You know, she's quite challenging. Well, go on, Claude. You know, you can do it. Or no, I don't like that. That's crap. She'd say, and I'd go, what? She'd say, no, I want this to be the best there is.
Wow.
Oh, okay, all right, okay. So she pushes me in that sense, a moral, the moral fibre and things like that, which is quite inspiring. I think of the people I'm doing it for, the younger generation. Financial assistance, there's no shortage of resources. There's only shortage of resourcefulness. And the other thing that I learned from a real wise man was, we used to go to these personal development seminars, of course, and everybody wanted to be a millionaire in those days. And then he'd look at them straight and said, well, you've got £1 million worth of something in you, but it's just in a form that deludes your consciousness or that you're not conscious of. And I remember when I heard that, a lot of things changed for me. That was 20 years ago. And I learnt that, and I think the thing is, we've all got a lot inside us.
Yeah.
I did this because I think one time I was either bored or frustrated, I can't remember what it is. I love playing board games, and then I thought, wouldn't it be cool to do a board game for Seychelles? And that was after doing all the stuff with the documentary.
Yeah.
So I think if you push yourself to the nth limit, you will be amazed at what you can actually achieve.
Yeah.
And I believe everybody's got genius in them.
Yeah.
Everybody's got really, one amazing stuff in them if they just push themselves and share it with other people.
That's fantastic. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, that Mr. Claude Bonté, the Beau VALLON, with me in the studio, talking about the documentary A Tale of Two Lawyers. And my final question for him was, is he receiving financial help? He says love is the financial help and the brains, and also push yourself to the limit. And I'm pretty sure after this interview, you're going to have some help. Hopefully out there, you're going to go, Mr. Claude Bonté, listen, the board game, I'm quite interested in it. Let me help you out with that, Mr. Claude Bonté. A few words, final words.
Couple of things.
Few words, final. Quick, yeah?
Last few words. One word that I would say is I've tried to go as far as I can with A Tale of Two Lawyers. Yeah. I would love the business community, actually, now that you've mentioned it, to actually come together and say, hey, maybe we can play a part in this as well. Maybe we can do things to actually get the board game known a lot more, in the community, or something like that, because it's a national project. I'm not going to live forever. Yeah. I'll be gone in another 50 years if I'm lucky.
You'll be around. You'll be around. So basically, you heard from Mr. Claude Bonté. The business community needs to come together, help out. Let's make history stay alive for every generation. With that said, Mr. Claude Bonté, our time is up.
Okay. Last thing.
Okay. Quickly, just show you up. Yeah.
If you guys remember this. Qui l'indépendance n'est pas capable de faire bâtons à limite. There you go. I was giving all this to people around the 29th, so there's a lot of fun. I've had a lot of fun with that, and I hope you enjoy watching it.
Thank you very much. Ça c'est le Topik Konversasyon. Merci, M. Bonté.